They own billions, and their influence on world politics is felt at the level of entire countries. In this video, we've gathered 5 influential billionaires that you'll definitely find interesting to learn about. Let's start with Pavel Durov. This provocative businessman is the creator of the social network VKontakte and the Telegram Messenger. He's also one of the most mysterious figures in the IT industry. As of 2025, the businessman's capital amounts to $17.1 billion, while Telegram's valuation is estimated at $30 billion. In 2024 alone, Telegram's revenue exceeded $1 billion. According to Durov, he will leave his entire fortune to his children, of which he has more than 100. This refers not only to his 6 biological children, but also to those born from donor sperm that he provided to clinics in 12 countries worldwide. He emphasized that he makes no distinction between the children, and all of them will receive an equal share of his fortune. Durov's real estate includes 2 apartments in St. Petersburg purchased during his ownership of the VK social network. Rumors suggest one of them is located in the Fifth Element residential complex and is worth more than $6 million. It recently became known that he owns a luxurious apartment in Berlin, which is currently being rented out. He also has a house in central London in Notting Hill. The house is built in beautiful Victorian style. Besides this property, he has a personal suite at the Ritz Hotel in Paris. There are also rumors that he owns a private jet, a castle in Italy, and much more. The businessman's car collection includes several vehicles. When he still lived in St. Petersburg, he drove a white Maybach. He also owns cars such as Mercedes-Benz C-Class, Lexus LS, Bentley Continental GT, and others. Currently, Pavel Durov lives in Dubai with his girlfriend Yulia Vavilova. That's where Telegram's headquarters is based. It's known that in 2024, he was arrested in France on charges of facilitating criminal activity on Telegram. The charges against Durov have not been dropped yet, but he was allowed to leave France. Besides the businessman's personal life, his appearance is actively discussed. Durov's classmates claim that in his youth, he had sparse hair and suffered from androgenic alopecia. However, in official photos, the young entrepreneur sports magnificent hair. Apparently, he not only transplanted hair from the back of his head, but also used donor hair. Now Pavel's hair is perfect, thanks to German doctors and a $100,000 operation. Additionally, he changed the shape of his ears. If they used to stick out, now they don't stand out at all. Professionals in the field of plastic surgery claim that Pavel's facial oval has also changed shape, and now his features look more pointed. Furthermore, many believe that his perfect body was achieved not only through workouts and diets, but also with the help of a new type of liposuction that tightens the body's muscles. So dying in the gym isn't absolutely necessary. Why didn't Pavel Durov simply correct his appearance flaws, but completely changed his type, transforming from a fair-haired nerd into a dark-haired, handsome man? The answer lies in his student passion. He watched The Matrix countless times and identified himself with Neo, the main character played by Keanu Reeves. Well, apparently Durov's childhood dream came true. Practically a copy of Neo looks back at him from the mirror every day. And the next person we'll talk about is the richest but no less scandalous entrepreneur. Recently, he got into politics, which earned him a lot of hate. Meet Elon Musk, an entrepreneur, innovator, business magnate, and space conqueror. For some, he's a man of the future, capable of changing the world for the better. For others, he's a con artist wrapping other people's ideas in beautiful packaging. According to the latest data, the entrepreneur's fortune is estimated at $407.8 billion in 2025, making him the richest person on Earth. For comparison, the Czech Republic's GDP is $345 billion, making Musk richer than an entire country. Interestingly, the billionaire doesn't have a full salary as Tesla's CEO. He receives compensation in the form of options if financial plans are met. Musk himself plans to spend half of his money solving problems on Earth, and the rest on creating a base on Mars. For these same goals, he decided to sell all his real estate worth $130 million. The real estate portfolio included 6 houses in Los Angeles, which he has already sold with a profit of $19.5 million. The main residence, according to media reports, was a mansion with an area of 1,877 square meters with 7 bedrooms, 13 bathrooms, a 2-story library, theater, wine cellar, gym, and spa. The adjacent territory includes a tennis court, pool, garden, and garage for 5 cars. Elon bought this house in 2013 for $17 million and sold it for $12 million more. Currently for sale is a 100-year-old mansion in Northern California near San Jose, valued at $35 million. Elon Musk plans to rent housing for himself and his family in the future, and for future space tourists, he began building the city Starbase on the site of the small settlement Boca Chica in Texas. The businessman's first car was a 1976 BMW 3 Series 320i, which often broke down and once a wheel fell off right on the road. Then Elon, having already managed to achieve good earnings, decided to fulfill his childhood dream and bought a Jaguar E-Type. However, driving this car, according to Musk, resembled a bad relationship where something constantly breaks. Then he owned a McLaren F1 supercar for about a year until he crashed it in an accident while showing the car in action to PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. The car sustained serious damage while being uninsured. Additionally, Elon Musk's garage has housed cars such as a Porsche 911 convertible, Hammond BMW M5. The experience of using the spacious Audi Q7 inspired the inventor to create gull-wing doors in the Tesla Model X for convenient rear seat placement. Of course, Elon drives all cars from his own company, and he buys them at full price. One of his daily cars is the Tesla Model S Performance, and last year he drove the Cybertruck electric pickup. Another of Musk's personal cars, the Tesla Roadster, is currently in space. In 2018, it was delivered there by the Falcon Heavy rocket, designed for transporting multi-ton cargo. But the entrepreneur's collection doesn't end there. He owns a vintage Ford Model T gifted by a friend, and a Wet Nelly auto submarine based on the Lotus Esprit from a James Bond film, bought at auction for $866,000. He also has a private Gulfstream G650 ER jet, a Czech Aero L-39 jet aircraft, and a Dassault Falcon 900 executive jet. The latter was used during filming of Thank You for Smoking, which Elon produced. The ambitious dreamer plans to colonize Mars and the Moon, create vacuum trains, convert all transportation, including aircraft, to electricity, provide internet access across the planet and even in space, and much more. Whether he'll manage to implement these plans in life, time will tell, but so far, he's been successful. By the way, the billionaire has had 14 children from 4 women over 20 years, though he may already have more children than is publicly known. Elon considers his mission to save civilization from demographic decline. In his opinion, intellectuals should have as many offspring as possible to ensure humanity's future. For this, Musk is ready to use surrogate mothers to create a legion of children. Now let's talk about a man whose fortune is much smaller than Musk's, but this doesn't prevent him from influencing an entire country. Rinat Akhmetov, Ukrainian businessman, oligarch, politician, president of the Shakhtar Football Club. Akhmetov owns the country's largest holding company, System Capital Management, and has been the richest Ukrainian for many years. In 2025, Forbes magazine estimated his fortune at $7.9 billion and placed him first in the Ukrainian ranking and 390th in the world ranking. The businessman was first included in the world ranking back in 2005 with a fortune of $2.4 billion, becoming the first Ukrainian in it. 6 years later, his fortune reached $16 billion, allowing him to occupy the 39th position in the global ranking. Rinat Akhmetov's main assets are located in eastern and southern Ukraine. Since the beginning of the war, he has lost 2/3 of his fortune. These are lost metallurgical, energy, and agricultural capacities. Nevertheless, from the first days of the war, He has been supporting his country. As of February 2025, Akhmetov has provided $315 million in aid to Ukraine's civilian population and defense forces. Billions of dollars allow Rinat to acquire the most luxurious real estate, both in Ukraine and abroad. He owned a huge mansion in Donetsk, built on the territory of a former botanical garden. For a long time, this residence was the oligarch's main place of residence, and now he lives in a palace near the capital. In 2020, Rinat Leonidovich built a luxurious residence in the village of Plyuty near Kyiv. The three-story palace in classical style, with an area of 12,000 square meters, can only be seen from drone shots, and one can only guess how luxurious it is inside. Besides the main palace, the 25-hectare site has 2 fountains, a French-style garden, gazebos, garages, a helicopter pad, houses for guests and staff, a pool with golden nozzles and stairs, a fishing house, jacuzzi, sauna, and an artificial lake with a bridge. It's known that Akhmetov built himself a separate electricity supply line with 4 generators in an underground bunker, and this project alone cost him more than $6 million. The oligarch also owned a palace near Yalta in Crimea. The new Kachuk-Koy estate was built for artist Zhukovsky in the early 20th century and is considered a cultural heritage of the Art Nouveau era. In subsequent years, a guest house with an area of more than 3,300 square meters and a huge complex with a pool of 2,100 square meters were built there, and according to experts, fake sculptures began appearing in the park, replacing the originals. In 2014, Russian authorities nationalized the property, and now it has passed into Gazprom's ownership for $25 million. However, according to Ukrainian law, the mansion belongs to Akhmetov, who is going to defend his position in court, so the palace's future fate remains unknown. Additionally, the oligarch owns the most expensive apartment in the Elite One Hyde Park residential complex in London, worth more than $220 million. In 2011, Rinat purchased several apartments with a total area of 2,300 square meters and combined them, occupying 3 top floors of the building. The apartments include several bedrooms, living rooms, a dining room, banquet hall, cinema, wine cellar. The complex territory includes a golf simulator, fitness center with indoor pool, sauna, and gym. But the billionaire's most grandiose real estate object is Villa Kedros, built in the 19th century in France, in the commune of Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat, between Nice and Monaco. At one time, this villa was owned by Belgian King Leopold, who bought it for his young mistress. Then its owner became the producer of the famous Grand Marnier liqueur. And in 2016, Akhmetov purchased it for $220 million. And for a long time, the villa was among the 3 most expensive houses in the world. The mansion, with an area of 1,670 square meters, contains 14 bedrooms, a living room, dining room, library with unique books, art gallery whose windows overlook the Mediterranean Sea. The land plot of more than 14 hectares houses a chapel, stable for 30 horses, pool, and botanical garden with exotic plants. Despite Akhmetov's huge passion for expensive mansions, his car collection is quite modest by billionaire standards. It's worth noting that Rinat bought his first car at 17. It was a Soviet 7. Today, the oligarch's motorcade consists of Mercedes. Just 10 years ago, it was a Mercedes S-Class, and now it's a Mercedes Maybach S650. The accompanying security also travels in cars of this brand. What unites them all is that each of Akhmetov's cars is armored and includes an enhanced protection and security system. Interesting fact, if you look closely at the license plates of cars that Akhmetov personally drives, you can discover a pattern. The sum of digits on each license plate equals 21, which matches the businessman's birth date and is also a special combination in cards. a game that Rinat enjoys. Akhmetov's family life has remained veiled from the public for many years. According to rumors, the billionaire has not only two officially known sons from his wife Lilia Akhmetova, Damir and Almir, but also two other children, Daniar and Damira, from Donetsk native Alina Litvinenko. Now let's return to the list of the world's richest people and talk about the second person on the list, Jeff Bezos. The second richest person on the planet, according to official data. He achieved this status by creating the largest online trading platform, Amazon. Now, Jeff Bezos is more concerned with how to spend his fortune than how to multiply it. Currently, Bezos' capital amounts to almost $236 billion. If you divide the billionaire's entire fortune into time intervals, it turns out he earns about $2,500 per second, more than twice what an average American worker makes in 1 week. And in a minute, his fortune increases by almost $150,000, which is more than 3 times the average annual income of a working American. According to Social Security Service data, the average American with a bachelor's degree will earn about $2.2 million in their lifetime. Bezos makes this in just 15 minutes. Analysts calculated that for Amazon CEO, spending $88,000 is like an average American spending $1. According to analysts, Bezos' fortune could exceed $1 trillion by 2030. However, he can't be called the most generous philanthropist. In total, he has donated less than $100 million to various funds, not counting his own. Bezos has his own fund called the Bezos Day One Fund, designed to finance nonprofit organizations helping the homeless and to establish preparatory preschool institutions for children from low-income families. Bezos invested about $2 billion in it. According to the billionaire, it's harder for him to figure out where to spend money than how to multiply it. The only effective way to do this is to reinvest it in other businesses and make big bets. As an example, Bezos cites his own aerospace company Blue Origin, into which he invests $1 billion annually. Its goal is space tourism. In May 2019, the company showed a prototype lunar landing module. Tickets for space flights will cost from $200,000 to $300,000 per person. In 2013, Bezos financed and led an expedition to extract one of the rocket engines from the Apollo 12 spacecraft from the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. At his request, NASA gave the find to the Aviation Museum in Seattle. Jeff also became the owner of the Washington Post publishing house, for which he paid $250 million, and created a company for producing films and series. He has loved alien movies since childhood, and in 2016, he even appeared in one, playing an alien in the adventure fantasy Star Trek Beyond. In early 2018, Bezos allocated $42 million to finance the construction of a clock with a 10,000-year service life. The small hand will move only once a year. There will also be a century hand that will move one division every 100 years. After a millennium, a cuckoo will appear. The fact that one of the world's richest people is also one of the largest landowners is not surprising. Bezos has 2 mansions in Medina, Washington, located on 2 hectares. Bezos paid $10 million for this real estate. One mansion's area is 2,000 square meters, and the second is about 800, which was later reconstructed for $28 million. Nearby is the house of the world's second richest person, Bill Gates. Additionally, Bezos owns a Spanish-style estate in Beverly Hills for $25 million. Nearby, he also bought a rather modest house for $13 million. In Washington, the billionaire owns a townhouse, former textile museum, that he bought for $23 million and invested $12 million in renovation, bringing the mansion's total cost to $35 million. The building, with an area of 2,500 square meters, was built more than a century ago. Bezos' largest real estate acquisition is a ranch in Van Horn, Texas, covering 12,140 hectares, which serves as a base for his aerospace company Blue Origin. He also has 3 luxury apartments in Western New York, which he bought from former Sony music head Tommy Mottola for $7.65 million. Recently, Jeff bought another property in central Manhattan, a 3-story penthouse, along with 2 neighboring apartments with a total area of more than 1,500 square meters for $80 million. On February 13th, it became known that Jeff Bezos bought the luxurious Warner estate in Los Angeles for $165 million from his friend media magnate David Geffen. This estate turned out to be the most expensive real estate purchase in the area. Originally, the house was built for Jack Warner, former president of Warner Brothers, in 1930. The Georgian-style house area is 1,300 square meters. The mansion has 7 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. One of the house's main features is the antique wooden floor, the same one Napoleon once stood on when proposing to Josephine. The dining room is decorated with early 19th century French wallpaper, and the living room features a massive crystal chandelier in George III style. The 3.6-hectare territory has extensive terraces and gardens, 2 guest houses, 3 greenhouses, a tennis court, pool, 9-hole golf course, and even its own auto service with a gas station. Jeff Bezos's beloved Lauren Sanchez insisted on buying this particular mansion. He married her in 2025 and became stepfather to her 3 children. From his previous marriage to Mackenzie, he has 4 more children. The second property Bezos bought in February 2020 in Los Angeles is an undeveloped land plot of 48 hectares. This purchase cost him $90 million. Besides this real estate, the billionaire also owns land with a total area of more than 40,000 hectares in various parts of the USA. For many years, Bezos drove a rather modest car, a 1996 Honda Accord. Now the billionaire's garage includes a Lamborghini Veneno, Pininfarina Sergio, Bugatti Veyron Mansory, and a Gulfstream aircraft worth $68 million. In our video, we'll be closed by a Russian billionaire who for a long time influenced the country's politics in one way or another. Roman Abramovich, one of the world's richest people. This is a man who knows how to create events that invariably attract world attention. One might assume that life clearly gave him a winning lottery ticket. Currently, Roman Abramovich's capital is estimated at $9.2 billion. Previously, the businessman owned $14.5 billion, but the financial crisis severely affected his fortune. The entrepreneur earns $2.5 billion per year. With such income, Roman Abramovich denies himself nothing. For example, in a New York restaurant, he once had lunch with friends for $52,000. Abramovich also loves holidays and doesn't spare money for them. The budget for one of the parties he organized on the island of St. Bartholomew was $8 million. Abramovich owns an incredibly valuable real estate portfolio worldwide worth more than $440 million, among which we can note a luxurious mansion in Kensington Palace Gardens for $116 million, a 5-story mansion in Belgravia, fashionable London district for $13 million, a 3-story penthouse on the Thames in the prestigious Chelsea district of London, which the businessman acquired for $38 million, a 6-story house in the luxurious London district of Knightsbridge, priced at $20 million, a mansion in France worth $17 million, a house in Saint-Tropez valued at more than $40 million, a land plot with a house in the Moscow region for $10 million, an estate worth $90 million on the island of St. Bartholomew in the Caribbean. Additionally, after attempting to buy an entire town in Colorado, Abramovich settled on a ski ranch covering 80 hectares for $18 million. Along with it, he acquired the entire nearby ski slope for $5.6 million. Recently, Roman Abramovich bought a villa located in the resort town of Herzliya-Pichuak, located 15 kilometers from Tel Aviv, for $65 million. Besides luxurious real estate, the oligarch owns 3 luxury-class yachts. Western media calls them Abramovich's fleet. The yacht Eclipse reaches almost 170 meters in length. Its cost, according to various estimates, ranges from $1 billion to $3 billion. This is where the businessman lived with Daria Zukova for 2 months before her first birth. Moored in Hudson Bay, by the way. He changes his lovers like gloves. It's known that the oligarch has 7 children. The yacht Luna, 115 meters long, costs $800 million. It's the largest expedition yacht and is designed to replace Eclipse, if necessary. The 50-meter yacht Cicero is currently permanently located in Antibes and is used as an escort vessel. The entrepreneur also has a mini submarine capable of diving to depths of up to 50 meters. Annual yacht maintenance costs Abramovich more than $50 million, and their upkeep would be quite unprofitable if the businessman didn't rent out the vessels. Renting Eclipse, for example, costs $2 million per week. Roman Abramovich owns an impressive and diverse aircraft fleet valued at almost $500 million. The crown jewel of the air fleet is the so-called Bandit, a luxurious Boeing 767-33 AER liner. After purchasing the aircraft in 2004, it was transformed into a stunning and well-protected flying mansion. Undoubtedly, this aircraft is very expensive. The cabin conversion cost alone is estimated at more than $300 million. The entire flying flotilla, including 2 more Boeing 747-300 liners and a VIP modification Boeing 747-700, is stored at London Stansted Airport. Abramovich also has 3 Eurocopter helicopters at $900,000 each, servicing his yachts. Besides yachts and aircraft, the oligarch owns a luxurious car collection valued at more than $30 million, including 2 armored Maybach 62 limousines worth $1.3 million, a Ferrari FXX worth $2.2 million. Only 30 such cars were produced: Pagani Zonda Roadster, Bugatti Veyron, Maserati MC12 Corsa, Ferrari 360, Mercedes AMG GT3, Aston Martin Vulcan, modified Porsche Carrera GT, and others. By the way, the billionaire is obsessed with his security. He has a security staff of 40 people with weapons that would make a royal guard envious. This costs the businessman $2 million annually. How do you think billionaires influence the economy and the lives of ordinary people?